Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Farnham. I write poetry. I live here in North Andover, and I think that I hope that you enjoy what you hear. So this is what I wrote. The title of the poem is Innocence, and I wrote this. Somewhere within me lives a little boy who breathes beyond a timeless tide. He carries scars upon his youthful heart, and tears he sheds, countless as the stars. I live for both him and me. These scars he bears might never heal. I carry his life beyond the clock and restless tide. I see his handsome face, the terror in his green-blue eyes. Time alone will grant no grave. Only through a mother's love did this little boy survive. But now begins a journey new, the place where I will carry him, where neither he nor I will ever need to cry. The title of this piece is Wasted Seed. This is what I wrote. The vase empty waits that it might fill with flowering green that blooms for all who fail to see, plucked before a dry desert wind scatters its only seed. For life without breath will not endure, and seed will never grow on a dry desert floor. The title of this poem is The Dancing Host. From her dancing host slips the maple leaf of golden hue, of orange red, to kiss the sleepy green farewell in this her valiant death. Beneath a sweeping slate of gray, November claims winter's stage, passage to a long dark night of barren oak, of storm-tossed rage. Lost but for what memory saves of summer's warm embrace, I hold the maple leaf aloft in this deny winter's frozen grave. Seed, the storied stuff of life, scattered before the winds of play, kiss the towering tree good night, to wake when April turns the page. The title of this piece is Wild Bouquet. Raked and torn her ruby crown, slips the bleeding petals scorned, cloaked in ice her tufted gown, lies caught on winter's thorn. No flower e'er grew so graced or ill, or whet the winds in heaven sent, a blazing pink on a painted hill, and flaming gold in a leafy glen. Sleep, sleep, my lavender bud, dreams unfold as the river runs, your honeydew, the chase of bees, and cherubs in the setting sun. To you race the barefoot suitor, through meadows time seduced, in a joyful taste of nectar, brush the spirit of love in bloom. A vintage red and harvest gleams, 'tis but rube and hue that fade, springs anew the seed of dreams, to paint a rose in wild bouquet. The title of this piece is Eulogy. A somber sculptured stone sealed his fate beneath, in a message to atone the secrets of its keep. Granite lives forever through the torrent and the cold, but chiseled there is severed what below in life was sown, and chiseled there is leaded on its face for all to see, in dates and places weathered by the weeping willow tree. Etched by hand and chisel on a hilltop o'er the sea, the wind's song and whistle, his only eulogy. The title of this poem is A Leaning Tree. Something there is in a sapling pine round Christmas tugs at the roots of time, a spirit uplifting in a whispering lilt, when snow from her reaches tumbles and spills. Music born on swaying limbs, the harp and horn of snow-white drifts. A tree has a lee to shake wet snow, and place to lean by the side of the road, and a bend too slow, folks who hurry past, her beauty to know on a trackless path. The title of this piece is A Robin's Song. A flower opens to the morning sun, to gently fold when day is done, and blossom once again unseen, carried on the wind his life and seed. A robin sings from an apple tree, his wings unfurled in a gracious breeze, to garden worm and nested need, born in the breath of eternity. No sweeter flower was ever made, to kiss each face where sadness lay, or lift a heart from its despair, like a robin's song on the evening air. The title of this poem is Dawn Reveals What Night Creates. How crisp the dawn's sharp hush, the crunch of wet and crusty snow that stings the ear when touched and numbs the dancing toe. A wild snow blinds the light to the wonder and the way, when on the meadow and the lake falls where little sheep graze. Without angles, how smooth and soft, how like a flowing angel robe, a village beguiled in graceful round now finds itself a message of hope. She is wild, driven wet, above the sleeping forest green, how white her song at eventide, that to the meadow sings. A night of distant stars, a dawn of crystal blue, a sun above the yard to polish every green and spruce, to chase the gray from the glen, to free the berry for the deer, to hug the lamb with radiance, and brush the ice that snaps the limb. The title of this poem is The Oneness of Life. A mountain pine painted white in wild surrender boughs, in the rake of a stormy night, caught on winter's knotted brow. A floating sea of flurries, down through the deep in drifts, turns a scarf found orange berries in the forest thick. A wall of ice cascading over fir and prickly pine, a sculpture God created, caught in frozen time. Genius breathes without praise, the obvious oft unseen. Quicker than the vacant eye, lost as the wave in the faceless sea. And off into the mountains now slips towering peaks, to rush the pregnant ocean, her origins to seek. The title of this poem is Growth. Baby's hands searched a face of contours soft and smooth, pink fingers spread to hold the world through eyes of azure blue. Little feet felt their way to a staircase of dark, grew with each ascending step to reach the distant stars. In the struggle for ideals, the world proved cold and hard, but tensile is to steel what love forged in his heart. The title of this poem is Banquet of Crumbs. A table strewn with crumbs, time not mine to treasure, a bitter taste it spurs, for time will take full measure. This entity fully served, the past an ancient verse, little left to cheer, death not far away, but near. Death follows me to the shadow and clocks the hour in this most solemn dirge. Time has passed me by. What heritage it's writ, none will know and few will care that I have passed. Just another empty prayer. Not so the empty grave. Look now, voyager, No bridges have you crossed, no mountains have you scaled, to say I have lived for nothing, that too the ledger writ. A lighter weave the living, death a darker cloak, the pen alone has saved me. This gift too must die, and I will write no more of life and the living, with death at my door. Death certain as the tide, and stills the ocean's roar. All life will cease, and I will write no more. I long for a brighter day. I long for a cloudless sky. A happy pen, my only friend, here sits idle on its side. The title of the poem is Miracle of Love. As the clear waters run to the bright shining sea, as warm as an August sun, deep in a summer's dream, love scales the mountains and lair on drifting clouds, where angels of the morning weave silk through a mystic shroud. Love seeds the desert in a wild flower bouquet, when teardrops from heaven green a barren plain. As the scented desert sings in a flowering song, when jealous night unfolds, awake, awake, embrace the dawn. The title of this poem is Prelude. Her jealous grip is spent when winter birds have flown, and the pine tree frees herself of icy sleeves winter sown. About her the meadow stirs to life and hopeful tapestry, and through the shouldered hills churns a rolling stream, tugging winter down and down to an ancient sea. Now the maple sap runs clear to the green pale hung below, and through the valley stirs a wind 10,000 years old, from a tower no man can climb to a realm no man can know. How fragile this restless scene, where the gray dove cries a lonely cry, and the bluebird sings on silky wings, born of need and cloaked in mystery. Something there is in a mortal's dream, something there is robed in breathless majesty. The title of this poem is Farewell to Fall. A sea of green no sun could slip, wrapped in a blaze of orange red. In lashing winds her colors wept, above the rough on a golden crest. Every spurned and withered leaf falls prey to winter's frown, to drift down thinning trees, gems and jewels of a jaded crown. Now the lake her shoulders bare, save the skyward limbs of gray, mirror the willow's naked stare, in dawn's dark and brooding drape. Her shores stone ice to terrace ice, her winds the song of swimming Greek geese, wrap the maple branch and pine in crystal lyric rhapsody. Etched in a pastel rainbow splash, ripple rill and blowing dune, tucked in bramble, reed and grass, lovers sleep in a dreamer's moon. The title of this poem is Of Silver and Red. Red breast, tail, and wing, sails in graceful flight, the silver birch below on her dancing branch alights. Refuge here, but not for long, her lifting winds aloft, calls her away from birch and us, grateful for this brief respite. Silver birch and crimson bird, blessed are we in awe, before you wing on wing, in your splendor we delight. The title of this poem is Reflections. Distant church bells toll the hour on a dark December night, leaden echoes from the tower before the dawn's gray light. Passers by with collars turned and ears cherry red snap crusty snow beneath cold feet as they trudge home to bed. The midnight hour shines few lights along the simple cottage rows, while sparks whisk from the chimney heights sweep the empty streets below. The watchman's biting ears shun the stranger passing by. The empty milliard in his care echo the frozen church bell's cry. It's an old fool who snowbound stands to guard a rusty gate, but wise enough to understand that for him, any hour is too late. I wrote this, and it's just that I want you to listen to it and hopefully enjoy it. The title of the poem is "The Beast of Anger." How cold this globe in silence spin, all a sickly swimming race, where worms round the thick of worms and slip the slime of silken lace. How stark this void's unlettered page, all a shadow spinning sown of apes that suck the blood of apes, the wet and red of savage bone. Claims the beast in stench and stain, prize and purse and steely rage, a strangely vile and dark domain, altar, throne, plain, and cave. Who, when fate fails his mood, flings stones against the brittle air, to strike the face of a sinking moon, and curse her sullen stare. Spent, his howl, most bloody howl, scatters birds of troubled flesh, echoes down the canyon walls, the boastful pounding of his chest. His face a gray and ghostly glow, his shadow dancing on the moon. He stares with eyes of burning coals in a vigil of the doomed. Misty entities on the walls reflect a slavish boar. Frozen in his stony cage, the simian screams, "No more." I wrote this about Jesus Christ. The title of the poem is "Joy Forever." Joy spread o'er the plains when of his birth the word went forth. Rejoice in this sacred birth, this gift of love for all mankind, this humble hut contained. All kneeled before him, in reverence, Jesus the infant's name. With gifts for them they came. It was a cold and deep December night, the sky black, the stars shone bright. Upon this miracle they bowed their heads, with folded hands expressed their love, the gift given to all mankind. In that pure moment, and for all time, a gift given from above. From then to now, the mystery without resolve. It is faith and faith alone that fills our hearts, and so remains. No room in the inn. The Holy Family turned away, found shelter in his name. Jesus, born on Christmas Day. It is in his name we bow our heads and pray. You know, the title of this poem is "Warm Eyes." Darkness reigned where the cold plains slept. Through winter's frozen night, slowly stirred as crept spring's soft and sullen light. To the naked eye unseen, ice unyielding tames where restless April breathes. Little warms the sting of scars, the tremble rage neath her bitter sheet of gray. Would a blush fade, song's rhapsody? A warm smile spurn the robes of dignity? Love to none concedes that God's winter tapestry is spring to a child's warm eyes. The title of this poem is "Valiant Death." From her dancing hole slips the maple leaf of golden hue of orange red, to kiss the sleeping green farewell in this her valiant death. Beneath the sweeping slate of gray, November claims winter stage, passage to a long dark night of barren oak, of storm-tossed rage. Lost but for what memory saves of summer's warm embrace, aloft I hold the maple leaf, in this deny winter's frozen grave. See the storied gift of life, scattered before the winds of play. Kiss the towering tree good night, to wake when April turns the page. Stirs the leaf in April's breeze that whispers through the greening tree of birth and death, the bittersweet of triumph's joy and sorrows, tragedy. The title of this poem is The Greening, and there's what I wrote. Sways the willow near the greening shore, awash in summer's lazy breeze, in her grandeur bows before. In skyward scrape towers the oak, dressed in silver lace of snowy sleeves, sentries at the gate, to winter's stunning scene, her majesty. From her dancing hole slips the maple leaf, of golden hue, of orange red, to kiss the sleeping green farewell, in this her valiant death. Beneath a sweeping slate of gray, November claims winter stage, passage to a long dark night, of barren oak, of storm-tossed rage. I wrote this, of flaws and diamonds. There is a flaw in every diamond, a painting brushstroke failed to kiss, a sunrise on the winter's shining, cloaked in a morning mist, where tapestry is woven of lotus flower and leaf, stitched in 1,000 silent hours in a beauty that never sleeps. And flaws are in their making, in the tear of a troubled night, wake to a gray dawn creating the pattern of a precious life. The title of this poem is Sunrise. Earthward falls the curtain in the pale of steeple bells, when winds of a season churn, leaves spill round a winter's well. Dawn bears no secrets in a song without a sound, where heaven's vigil keeper gives chase to purple clouds. Wisdom wears no crimson robe, neither boasts ancestral laws, but drinks from a starry bowl, pure water of the gods. The key is wrapped in eternity, on the crown hangs withered skin, a fool's rib of the rue, and balm for petaled prince. Time holds a candle to the quick, when shadow to the light is wed. Spirit sings beyond the abyss, while angels guide the chariots. The title of this poem is The Dreams, and this is what I wrote. If I could only journey where dreams alone have taken me, to a place no man has dared, walk in truth with destiny. Heaven's robe would not deny passage to inspect, its golden doors inscribed, enter child without regret. No shadow then would follow, no quest in searching stray, all doubt would ring as hollow as life we know today. In thought alone I cannot learn what lessons dreams alone must hold. Then all the pages I have turned are no more than cabbages, bought, and sold. And that concludes the reading. I want to thank you for your kind attention. I find it rather flattering that I have this beautiful audience here. And again, thank you very much for being a part of my life. Thank you. Good night.